Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at Hindsight on the Nintendo Switch. It comes from Annapurna Interactive, one of the most exciting publishers out there, and I'm absolutely a believer in their library. But can it live up to their past catalogue quality? Well, that's what I'm here to find out, so hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. Hindsight, then, it's priced at $14.99 or your regional equivalent, and if you do decide to pick it up, consider using cornershop.gg, where you will receive 10% off instant delivery eShop gift cards, and the full details it's in the pinned comment down below. Hindsight then tells the story of Mary, a woman who has recently lost her mother. We're essentially sorting through and packing up this home, while also along the way unlocking memories of our past. It's a narrative experience that asks us to slow down, to pay attention to the things around us, and to look at what is left behind. As we do unlock the memories as well, the narrative it unfolds thanks to narration from Mary and through, of course, the imagery on screen. It's worth knowing at this point the game features subtitles including sizing options, but I turn them off here to avoid any spoilers. Through the memories unlocked though while exploring this family home, we'll see Mary's entire life story up until this point. That's going to be her birth, her childhood, the teenage moments, and eventual adulthood. Through this journey though, we'll also see Mary attempt to navigate the stages of grief, including denial, anger, and acceptance. It's never a hard-going narrative, and it's suitable for all ages, but it does a fantastic job of showcasing these snippets of Mary's life, but also that emotional reaction. Thematically then, there's a lot in here. Think love, loss, fear, obstacles, life decisions. I want to give away very little given Hindsight's focus, but I thought it was incredibly well handled, and it often used its platform to showcase, moments in life. They're not always as we may perceive or may even intend. There's no multiple endings here either. That makes absolute sense given the fact, this is a life that's already occurred. We are simply getting a front row seat to it playing out. But between Joel McDonald, the lead developer, and Emma Kidwell, narrative designer, they've done an exceptional job. It's never intense, but it is emotional and often relatable. Gameplay then, and the concept is simple. We start in a hub world that is our apartment, but we will slowly begin to reflect on our time at the family house. This is a simple case of selecting an object though, which will pull us through to the next location. For example, see a window and notice a reflection from our past. There we go, away we go. It's a simple but effective system that has us basically rotating a camera around what is a central object. There's no free movement here though, no exploration, rather shadows of our past that we can click and interact with that will make us take that next step. Think almost a diorama-like in rotation, but with the ability to explore in any direction. There's 8 chapters in total to see through, each of them can be replayed. As we do progress then as well, interactions can become more complex. Think identify the correct angle to see an image clearly, pull and push items to reveal our desired item, explore larger locations. In fact, a highlight for me was moving raindrops on a window and you put them together to open up a picture. There's just many creative uses here that I will not spoil. Honestly, it's not an incredibly involved gameplay experience. It allows you to embrace the narrative by design, but your hands, I'll say this, they will never leave the controller. It's nearly constantly asking you to identify that next step as a voiceover plays out, and we start to understand the narrative. That control is very much in your hands. The hardest decision by far as well, this really surprised me, we must choose one item to keep at the end of a chapter. Now the game may not have multiple endings, but I actually found power in that as I reflected on my choices and what I'd seen leading up to this point. I played with a controller as well, but this is also optimized for touchscreen, and the time I did experiment with it, it worked perfectly. This is thanks to the fact it's not only coming to Steam as well, but also iOS. Do not let that put you off though, as I do for many it can. Gameplay wise though, look, it's a simple system. It constantly keeps you involved. Problems, very few. Occasionally camera angles could be a little too tight to the object you are looking for, and also I would suggest you may want to adjust the controller options in the menus to find a cursor speed that works for you. You can also then invert the X and Y axes should you prefer. Graphically then, it's simplistic but stunning. It starts at our apartment, a clear city location full of blacks and greys, before transitioning to our childhood home, a more suburban location. The minimalistic approach though allows this contrast to really shine through. In the world, it's always easy to identify what is occurring around you. The transitions from location to location as well are stunning. Every step has been planned out to make absolute sense. For example, we see a horse running down a road, we click, the next transition, the camera is flying through and exiting a toy horse found on the table. It's simple, but it demonstrates the care that has gone in. With progression as well, then we begin to see the more surreal. This is where the visuals come into their own, memories collide. It's a great visual style to deliver on that idea, with larger than life locations and of course objects as well, but with a lead that still looks very grounded. The audio then, it's incredible. Kyle Preston created the soundtrack. I hope it gets a standalone release. It's in keeping with the relaxed nature of the experience, piano pieces throughout, mostly mellow, but it delivers a score that reflects our characters' emotional states. Then the voice acting. Rico Aylesworth plays Mary, our narrator. She, it seems, was famous for 24, but it's well handled. It's delivered with a tone that's calm, but you can still identify the moments of grief, happiness, confusion. Finally, sound design. It's small, but each location, it's accompanied with enough to add a little extra life. Hindsight then, it's a very typical Annapurna release in a positive way. I'm a big fan of the publisher. I'll always strive to cover their work, even if, a narrative adventure like this, it's not exactly going to be demanding views. That said though, just look at their library. Most recently, Stray is getting all the love. Neon White, I adored. That's just a small sample of their recent releases. There is too many good games to count. Think here: The Artful Escape, Last Stop, I Am Dead, Telling Lies, The Outer Wilds, Sayonara Wild Hearts. You just never know what to expect from them, but you do know it's often going to be something a little different. Sure, look, it doesn't always work, honestly. Occasionally they can even be a little pretentious, let's face it, but few studios are as exciting as them, and you just know when you're playing an Annapurna Interactive game. They're shaping what is a curated list of incredibly unique games, and that's exactly how I feel about this one again. Hindsight, yeah, look, there's a few quirks, but it's another jewel in that crown. A simplistic story of self-reflection that is well handled, and I enjoyed every moment of it. This is not a narrative that's all that easy to deliver on with realism, and I absolutely felt for these characters. For some, it will be too short. I finished it in just over 2 hours, but you'd pay this price for a movie, so I personally think that is more than fair. With that then, look, it's an amazing 9 out of 10. It won't be for everyone, but for narrative fans, it's a must-buy who want something a little more mellow that's focused on a character story over anything else. I cannot wait to see what this team outputs next. Will you be adding Hindsight to the library then, or holding onto that cash? With that then, hit subscribe and join us here for reviews and deals near daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.